Hey, what's up, everybody? The V Club here, otherwise known as the Villain Club. Oh, yeah, you know what it's about. It's about anything and everything that comes to mind that's just headline and whatever it is that may be. I mean, it could be anything and everything, is what I always say. And just kind of sharing with you my thoughts on it. Kind of in a common sense way of just looking at things. Because just sometimes people overthink things, sometimes people really don't think hard enough at the same time. And I kind of bring a perspective that it's just common sense. But anyhow, I just wanted to share with you guys my thoughts on what transpired a couple days ago. And I thought it was interesting because, one, I never really knew much about it. And this is the Al Smith Memorial Dinner, Foundation Memorial Dinner. And I didn't really know much about it until they made a big deal about it this year. I don't know. I just never really paid attention to it. Never been this deep into politics until this year because of what's been going on the last few years. I've been starting to pay attention more and more and more, and so I thought I would talk about this here. Right. So my understanding is that Al Smith, the memorial dinner here, or otherwise known as the dinner, Al Smith dinner, it's the annual white tie dinner in New York City. So, Democratic stronghold, right? And it's to raise funds for Catholic charities supporting children of various needs in Archdiocese of New York. And what's significant about this Al Smith dinner is that it's a Democrat stronghold. It's a place where annually politicians of all types, right? Doesn't matter if you're Republican, Democrat, Green Party, American Party, whatever, right? Doesn't matter. All people show up. I mean, you have people sitting next to each other, such as in this picture here with Trump and Hillary Clinton, right? Pelosi's there, Schumer's there. They're all sitting together, right? Even though you might not like each other, but there's enough respect in this Al Smith dinner to show up, to be a part of, have some dinner, have some laughs, because it's kind of like a fun roasting event as well, right? For those of you that like roast and stuff, roasting and not like roasting in the oven, but making fun of each other, telling jokes, and this is the first time I've ever kind of watched highlights of it, and so because I've never watched prior ones before this year, and I thought it was funny. I thought it's funny, entertaining, and the notably who didn't show up was Kamala Harris, and um, to many, that's a surprising thing because typically Catholic, typically New York, typically this is an event that a Democrat should show up to, all right, especially in election season, because it kind of just gives that reinforcement that as a Democrat you're supporting your Democrat city. This, even though Democrats don't really like religion, but it's heavily supported by Catholics, which is interesting. So, that's what you see in the headlines here, right? Harris doesn't show up for whatever reason, and yeah, I don't know what it is though. I don't even know why she didn't show up, but then she did do like a video, uh, you know, display of whatever it is that she was trying to do, which that got torn apart as well. So everything that she's done, it's been bad so far, in terms of strategy and in terms of trying to compete for the presidency against Trump. Trump shows up, right? And so, it's just funny how it is. So, what I wanted to do is pull up some of the highlights here of this, and it's actually pretty funny, you know. So I just wanted to share a little bit of it with you guys. See, Trump roasts everyone at the Al Smith dinner, leaves room in splits. Yeah, because it's funny, witty stuff, you know. So let me try this right here. All right, we'll try this one.
Tradition holds that I'm supposed to tell a few self-deprecating jokes this evening.
There's Schumer.
So here it goes. Nope, I've got nothing. I've got nothing. There's nothing to say. I guess I just don't see the point of taking shots at myself when other people have been shooting at me for a hell of a long time and they shoot at. But I know this isn't my normal crowd tonight because it just isn't. It's not my normal crowd.
Yeah, it's not his normal crowd because it's a Democratic, stronghold, right? This is more of a Democrat event, you know. So that's why. And this is the thing about Trump. He doesn't care what it is, where it is. He'll show up. You know, he'll show up everywhere. So that's what's cool about him.
Believe me, my normal crowd is younger, has a lot more energy, but you have certain advantages too, like cash, lots of cash. But many of you are Manhattan liberals from the media and the Democrat Party.
Truth.
I always say the Democrat, you know, Chuck doesn't like that. He likes Democratic, and it sounds much more beautiful. The Democratic Party. I always say the Democrat Party because it sounds worse.
After
It is true. He likes Democratic. Why don't they just change the name? This way, you know, it is Democrat. But I must say I was shocked when I heard that Kamala was skipping the Al Smith dinner. I'd really hoped that she would come because we can't get enough of hearing her beautiful laugh. She laughs like crazy. We would recognize it any place in this room, and all polls are indicating I'm leading big with the Catholic vote, as I should be. But I don't think Kamala has given up yet. She hasn't. Instead of attending tonight, she's in Michigan receiving communion from Gretchen Whitmer. That's not a pretty sight. But Catholics, please don't be too insulted by Kamala's absence. If the Democrats, he goes, thank you very much, I appreciate it. If Democrats really wanted to have someone not be with us this evening, they would have just sent Joe Biden. You know, he's having second thoughts, you know that, right? He wants to come back. If she does any worse in the polls, they're going to bring him back again, I think. Chuck, he's going to do it. He's the one that got him out.
Oh.
That's the guy. Much more so than Crazy Nancy, I will tell you. Because I know him. He did it. Joe has almost disappeared from view. The only way he could be seen less is if he had a show on CNN. They had nothing. They've got nothing. Fake news, right? Fake. Someone in the White House who can barely talk, barely put together two coherent sentences, who seems to have mental faculties of a child, it's said. Is a person that has nothing going, no intelligence.
It's funny because even though he's roasting everybody, this is truth, though. You know what I'm saying? Like when he's pointing at Schumer, Schumer's one of the responsible people for him and Pelosi, probably Obama, in terms of getting Biden booted from the ticket. You know, so just saying.
Whatsoever, but enough about Kamala Harris. Let's get on to something else. I know Kamala's word because she spends a lot of time complaining. I won't agree to another debate. But the truth is I've debated twice this year, once against Joe Biden and once against David Muir of ABC. It's been a long tradition for both Democrat and Republican candidates for President of the United States to attend this dinner. Always it's a rule. You got to go to the dinner.
Yeah.
You got to do it. Otherwise, bad things are going to happen to you from up there. You can't do what I just saw on that screen, but my opponent feels like she does not have to be here, which is deeply disrespectful. I've never liked people that I was competing against. When you do, a lot of bad things happen. And we are doing well. By the way, the votes are starting to come in. You got to get out and vote. And Catholics, you got to vote for me. Just remember. You better remember I'm here. And she's not. I could have done that too.
I mean, think about that. This is a great political way to get those votes too, just by being present and speaking.
But you do something that's incredible, the Catholic Church, you're helping the poor, educating children, and supporting the vulnerable. But if you really wanted Vice President Harris to accept your invitation, I guess you should have told her the funds were going to bail out the looters and rioters in Minneapolis, and she would have been here, guaranteed she would have been here. Guaranteed. The last Democrat not to attend this important event was Walter Mondale, and it did not go very well for him.
And Walter Mondale ran against, I believe it was against Ronald Reagan, if I, can recall correctly, based on what I read. And it was a landslide. Reagan just defeated Mondale in a landslide victory for president during that time.
He lost 49 states and he won one, Minnesota. So I said, there's no way I'm missing it. Actually, it was not easy for me to get here tonight. Because I wasn't going to miss this thing, no matter, I didn't care. I wasn't going to miss it. But that's true. Walter Mondale, 49-1. He was expected to do well, and it didn't work out. It shows you there is a God. I mean, for those people that are questioning it. I understand the real reason that she's not here is she's hunting with her running mate, spending a lot of time hunting. In any event, it's a weird. You know the word weird. They call me weird. They call JD weird. We're very solid people. This guy is calling us weird, but this was weird that the Democrat candidate is not here and with us tonight. Senator Schumer.
Yeah, even Walz. I mean, imagine if Walz even showed up to this. I mean, that would have been, something, right? But nobody on that ticket, Kamala or Walz, showed up, which is, I mean, this is just something that is, to me, stupid, and something that clearly wasn't thought out correctly, that you got to show up to this kind of event, especially if it's been a Democrat tradition.
Good. Yeah, I supported him. I don't know. I don't know. He used to say that's true, and now I'm not sure he would, but I gave him his first check from an office in Beach Haven, and I was very proud of it. I don't know about lately. Chuck Schumer is here looking very glum.
Look at him.
Doesn't he look glum? He looks glum. But look on the bright side, Chuck, considering how woke your party has become. If Kamala loses, you still have a chance to become the first woman president.
You get that joke? Transgender?
And I actually said, do you mind if I do that? And he said, no, you got to do what you got to do. He's a pro. He's a professional. No, he's a good man, actually. I hate to say it. Don't ever use it against me, please. They'll say, this dinner was really setting me back when I say no. But I've known him a long time. There's a group called White Dudes for Harris. Have you seen this? White Dudes for Harris. Anybody know? Are some of you here? White Dudes for Harris? Doesn't sound like it. But I'm not worried about them at all, because their wives and their wives' lovers are all voting for me. I didn't like Biden very much, and now I like him quite a bit. And now I say that she's much worse than him. He was a much better candidate than her, actually. And when we hopefully win...
in hindsight, he was a much better candidate. The only bad thing about Biden was that his, condition has been showing, right? His dementia, whatever it is, he's really slowed down. But at the same time, if that vulnerability wasn't shown publicly in display, Biden was actually a better candidate than Kamala because, Biden's been doing it and all the years of being in government. I mean, of course, he knows a lot more, but he's so woke and progressive, though. That's the only bad thing. Kamala plainly shows she doesn't know nothing about nothing. I mean, she doesn't know anything at all whatsoever. So, just saying.
And dispose of her. I like her a lot, but right now I can't stand her. It's true. I can't stand her. A lot of people don't like it. The only piece of advice I would have for her in the event that she wins would be not to let her husband, Doug, anywhere near the nannies. Just keep him away. That's a nasty one.
Well, because if you don't know, Kamala's husband, Doug Emhoff, once cheated on his ex-wife with a nanny. So that's what that is from.
That's nasty. I told these idiots that gave me this stuff, that's too tough. Oh, I did. They told me the last time I did this, I was running against crooked Hillary. Hillary. No, I was running against crooked Hillary and I did it, and I thought it was a roast. See, I was told it's a roast. And I had the meanest guy you've ever seen write stuff up, and man, was the room angry. Even the Cardinal remembers. I went overboard, don't you agree, Cardinal? It was like terrible. And I knew I was in trouble around midway through because, people are not, even my own side was angry at me. They were saying, it's too much. But I did it anyway. I didn't give it. I'd like to thank our MC this evening, Jim Gaffigan. Most recently, Jim has been playing Tim Waltz on Saturday Night Live. And that'll be a very short gig, I hope, Jim. But it was fun while it lasted, wasn't it? Let's see how that lasts. It better be quick. We don't want him, and I'm not going to say anymore. But unfortunately, Governor Waltz isn't here himself, but don't worry, he'll say that he was. He's going to say he was.
Implying, because, Walz has been lying about a lot of things in general, and he can't even keep up with the stuff he's lying about, which is a funny thing. So, everything he's speaking about is all truth, He's just speaking the truth. This is what happened.
I used to think the Democrats were crazy for saying that men have periods, but then I met Tim Waltz.
Tampon Tim.
The stupid show, The View, is so bad now that the other day I was watching it and thinking to myself, you know what? They really need to bring Rosie O'Donnell back. That show is bad. Those people are bad. I know every one of them, and they are bad news, I want to tell you.
It's funny shit. Funny stuff. I think there's one thing I wanted to play real quickly here. There was, I hope I can find it, but it was, I believe the Cardinal or the MC, one of them, was speaking about, why you should show up to this, and that Harris dropped the ball on that. I don't know, maybe I'll play the Fox News here of this and see if they have that up.
All right, it is Friday. Hello, everyone. I'm Sandra Smith along with Judge Janine Pirro. Harold Ford Jr., Charlie Hurt,
okay, maybe that's who it was, Jim Gaffigan.
It is 5 o'clock in New York City, and this is The Five. All right, well, Vice President Kamala Harris taking heat after she was a no-show at the Al Smith dinner, an event that raises millions for Catholic charities and has been a staple for candidates for more than 60 years. But her rival, former President Donald Trump, was more than happy to headline and pulling no punches with these jokes.
These days, it's really a pleasure anywhere in New York without a subpoena for my appearance. If you really wanted Vice President Harris to accept your invitation, I guess you should have told her the funds were going to bail out the looters and rioters in Minneapolis, and she would have been here guaranteed. Chuck, considering how woke your party has become, if Kamala loses, you still have a chance to become the first woman president. There's a group called White Dudes for Harris, but I'm not worried about them at all because their wives and their wives' lovers are all voting for me. But I don't think Kamala has given up yet. She hasn't, instead of attending Gretchen Whitmer.
VP Harris becoming the first presidential nominee to skip the Al Smith dinner since 1984. Harris instead chose to send this strange pre-recorded video featuring former SNL star Molly Shannon.
The Al Smith dinner provides a rare opportunity to set aside partisanship.
Cool. Oh, sorry.
Hey, what's going on? Who was that?
I'm Catholic, and tonight is one of the biggest dinners next to the Last Supper.
It is a very important dinner, and it's an important tradition that I'm so proud to be a part of. Is there anything that you think that maybe I shouldn't bring up tonight?
Well, don't lie. Thou shalt not bear false witness to thy neighbor.
Indeed.
And some folks in the media aren't happy with former President Trump's speech.
Last night, his appearance...
Come on, man. Like, really? It's a roast. People are going to get insulted at roast. That's the whole idea of it, you know? So for people like Al Sharpton here to get pissed is like, really? You know, like, get out of here, man. This is stupid.
At the Alfred E. Smith dinner was ridiculous. It was offensive, and it was way off the mark.
Get the fuck out of here.
Donald Trump misread the room. I thought that he was undisciplined and mostly unfunny.
These people are stupid.
Missed the mark. It was cringeworthy, and it was unnecessarily nasty.
He was nasty in his comments and, frankly, not very funny.
So is this Catholic Church event normalizing a guy who's already broken 11 of the 10 commandments?
And got darker and darker, where even some of his supporters I'm not sure found it all quite that funny.
You guys are a bunch of
Greg, I could not wait to
morons.
sit down with you tonight and ask you what you thought about those jokes and how they went over.
I think it's just hilarious how they all sound exactly the same, the critics. It's incredible. It's like you'd think they get the talking points from one person. I mean, true to a Catholic event, Donald Trump gave Harris last rites. My favorite part, though, is how he's like Bruce Wayne, and he's got the penguin like to the his lower left elbow, just sitting nearby, and he's just crapping all over the penguin. Schumer was like in a weird self-made prison. You know, how do you engage with a human you call Hitler? And you're there, and they actually got chummy. So clearly Schumer doesn't really believe Trump is a Nazi, or he wouldn't be there laughing and talking to him. So think about it. All this Trump rhetoric is just a political show. And their willingness to foment division across a country to get to demonize Trump's supporters, because you're supporting a Nazi, is all based on a lie. And it tells you the division is never, ever left versus right. The division is supposed to be left versus right when it's really the elitists against everyone else. They want you to believe it's left versus right, but it really isn't. I love the Kamala video, because she says it's so important to come together and reach across the divide at events like these, events she turned down. She didn't come across or reach across the aisle. This is exactly what she does with everything. She says, we need to do this, and then she does the opposite. I believe in women's rights, while then, you know, she'll push paying for the sex changes of a guy who killed a woman. But my best part was the meltdown over the speech. You know, Trump said somebody at Fox helped him write the jokes. Wasn't true. It was a comedian who sends me riffs on my monologue. And these left-wing house-bound auditors on social media put on their reporter caps, thought they had a Watergate scandal they were breaking. It's absolutely amazing. Oh my God, look at this. Their whole career is based on moments of another person's actual career. While we have fun, they wet their couches. At some point, you should revisit the trajectory of your life if your dopamine is dependent on what you think other people have done. It's really sad. was a good night for everybody.
Yeah. But for Kamala Harris, was it a missed opportunity, Harold?
Well, it's
definitely
a
missed opportunity.
I would have probably gone. I think this dinner
He's a Democratic representative.
If I were, her running for president.
To give a Democrat
this dinner is one that raises
view
money for Catholic charities and has been a success for many
show.
years. And I think for those of us who've been to the dinner, those of us in politics, it's one of those moments that invites back in and really ushers back in some good humor and cheer in politics, especially at a time when things have gotten angry and partisan. And I'm not just talking about this cycle. Presidential cycle at this time, it's always a little heated. So you look forward to seeing the candidates have a little fun ribbing one another and even ribbing some of the political climate.
See,
I listened to President Trump.
Even he could take jokes.
Found some of it funny. I found some of it. I think Michael Smerconish, who was making the point in one of the intro sets. You know, he's not a partisan guy. I mean, he is, and I thought his take on it was interesting. That being said, I always look at these things also 2.5 weeks out, Sandra, and wonder when candidates are presenting publicly, what are they trying to do? Is this a part or how do they incorporate this into their closing strategy? And as I listen to both candidates, less and less Harris over the last few days. We've been critical around this table that she's not done enough events and she's not opened up enough. She did I think.
Well, the problem is the more she talks, the worse it gets. And now she's probably pulling back, of all that. Let me try to look for that other, let's see here. It might have to be in the very beginning here, but I'm not trying to play the whole thing here. Yeah, I just can't find it, but it was a very interesting intro when they were just really ripping at her for not showing up, and yeah, I just can't find it, but I'm not going to sit here and look for it right now. All I got to say is it's one of the most important events, and they didn't show up, or they didn't show up. Kamala didn't show up, and it's like she always been speaking about things, but yet she doesn't really do what she speaks about stepping across the aisle and going to something to make peace with whatever in that sense. And I know it's not the same word and verbiage, but it's one of those things that it's always do as I say, but I don't do what I say, and that's what she's been doing all along. Anyhow, that's one of the shows with you guys. I thought it was funny and a missed opportunity yet again for one of many, many Kamala screw-ups and strategies that are fails. And I hope it's a Walter Mondale landslide loss in that sense. And the way Trump's going, he has a lot of momentum, and that's the way it's looking like. But this is a fun, this is an event. To me, if I was running, I would go. Whether it doesn't matter what party I would go, because it should be something that should be attended. But yeah, we'll see what happens from here on out. And as the days get closer and closer to the election, comment down below. Let me know what you think. Subscribe, hit the bell icon, and thanks. I'll see you next one.